Hey South friends, I'm here with my friend Dana. Dana, welcome. Thank you for being willing to do this.
Thank you, Alex.
We're going to sit down and just talk about this idea of how church, Christian community is centered around relationship. And Dana, your story is just so fascinating in terms of how you came to be a part of South. So why don't we start there? It's 2020, we're in the middle of a pandemic, or right before one, I think.
It was.
And you ended up at South. How did that happen?
Yes.
What did that look like?
Well, so I had been praying and searching for a community before the pandemic hit. And I, like you, I'm a 7, I'm extroverted. I really love and need community. And
I'm not extroverted.
No,
what are you
not at all. And so I crave being around people. And I think we all do. We all crave connection on some level. And so I visited several churches, and I ironically, the coffee shop, we've been coming to the coffee shop, the boys and I, for years, just to come and sit and have coffee and meet friends. And so I had never come to South. And so I was like, I Googled it and looked online, and there was this thing called sisterhood. And so I was like, well, what's that? That sounds really interesting. And so I decided just to show up. So one Wednesday I showed up, and Ruth Nichols was speaking that night.
Ruth Nichols, what a great person to know.
Ruth is incredible.
Someone everyone should know.
Yes. So she knocked my socks off with her talk about her story, right? And so coming to sisterhood, as I left, here I'm and I don't mind being in a room full of people I don't know, but it's still slightly uncomfortable, right? You're new to a place where other people know each other. And so as I was leaving, I had my mug, which had my Texas Tech sticker on it. And so Ruth was like, oh, Texas Tech, how do you know Texas Tech? And so turns out that we had a connection there. And so she just started talking to me, and I just felt so loved, and it was very warm. And so then I decided I would come to church on Sunday, and Dan was speaking that Sunday.
Dan, another great person to know.
Another great person to know. So then I came, and then the next week, everything shut down.
So you make this great step of getting involved in a new community, and everything shut down.
Right.
And it's sometimes when you've had something like that happen, it's hard to try again, I think, isn't it? It's when people lose relationships, it's hard to try again. We've been through this pandemic. There's people at South that are probably asking questions like, do I even know who comes here anymore? Anytime you're asked to do something a second time, it can be harder to believe it can work out well. And yet, that wasn't the end of the journey for you.
It was not, no.
What happened next?
Yes, so then everyone went online with sisterhood, so I continued to attend Wednesday nights. And then I met Grace and Sarah Belaski and just amazing women that basically, I think it's that idea of kindness, and what I've learned about friendship is reaching out. So it's sending a text, or it's saying, hey, can you go for coffee? Or hey, can you go for a walk? And during the pandemic, it was much harder, right? Yeah. So just having that connection, that face-to-face, even if it was on video, was amazing.
And there's a little bit of a risk there, isn't there, in doing those things and reaching out? And yet so often when you do, you find that the other person on the other end was longing to be reached out to.
Yes.
And that there's a joy there.
And I think the pandemic brought a certain level of vulnerability too. And I think that there's some beauty in that. I think it's kind of like Brene Brown talking about that level of the more vulnerable you are, then you create a deeper level of connection with folks.
Wow. So, yeah, that's powerful. Man, we could just stop there. But you got involved with the food pantry from that,
right?
And
right.
Something you still do regularly.
Yes. Yeah, so that was the next step, was that I in the newsletter, I think I signed up. I was new to South, and so I signed up, and then I got an email saying. I signed up for South Cares, I think, and I got an email, I think it might have been from Dan, saying that we need extra volunteers in the food bank. I was like, that's perfect. I can go and be in person with people.
Oh, I love it, yeah.
I love hugs and being around people. So I showed up to the food bank, and then I met Sharon, who is just a doll, a love, and Michelle and Aaron and all of the people in the food bank that has just filled my soul. It's been an amazing place to serve. And so
you've got to serve alongside them, you've got to get to know them.
Yeah.
How have you seen yourself grow during that season?
Right. Well, I think I've learned, I was telling Sharon this the other day actually, that I think we learn how to be a friend from other people who are good friends, from people who show up and who exhibit kindness. And it's kind of like this place of connection. It's that relatedness and connection of reaching out and just really accepting somebody for who they are, and regardless of their age or their generation or their work or their color of their skin or whatever it may be, that you know, that you just, and I think that's what Jesus would do. You know, is kind of that reflecting back to just showing love, right? It's just being kind and showing love to other people. And so I felt that here.
Knowing that you're loved enough that you can take off the mask, you don't have to pretend, you can be yourself. So we're going to talk in the next few weeks about how relationships enable us to step into this season of growing. And then we actually get to go out into the world to love those in the world around us. And just thank you for doing that, Dana, and thank you for being part of who we are here at South.
Of course, thank
It's
you.
a joy.